Hello there, everybody, and welcome back to Ignite Youth this morning, this evening, this afternoon. I always say morning, I do not know why. But anyway, welcome back to Ignite Youth, and we're so glad to see all of you here. I'm sure there are some new people joining us today. It's some very old, long-time people joining us as well, but it's fine. Wherever you find yourself, welcome to Ignite Youth. Well, today we're doing our third topic of the cycle, which is owning your faith, and I believe that this topic is going to be just as relevant for you. Most of you are having exams, so I pray that your exams are doing well. By all things, I hope that and believe that you're going to have a great life group session today. Well, just one announcement, which is next week we are not meeting. Next week we are off. So next week, enjoy a little off day together with your mentors. We'll have a little thing. Maybe you guys can go out watch a movie together. Maybe you guys can go out and have a meal together. Maybe you guys can go to the park together. But whatever it is, next week we are off. So enjoy a long weekend next week, as it is also Labor Day. So in all things, God bless, and let's have worship together. Let's sing together. How I live for the moments when I'm still in your presence. All the noise dies down. Lord, speak to me now. You have all my attention. How I linger and listen. I can't miss a thing. Sing. Lord, I know my heart wants more of you. My heart wants something new, so I surrender all I want. All I want is to live within your love, be undone by who you are. My desire is to know you deeper. Lord, I will open up again, throw my fears into the wind. I am desperate for a touch of heaven. Oh, oh, oh. Sing, you're the fire in the morning. You're the fire in the morning. You're the cool in the evening. The breath in my soul. You're the life in my bones. There is no hesitation in your love and affection. It's the sweetest of all my heart. 'Cause Lord, I know my heart wants more of you. My heart wants something new, so I surrender all I want. All I want is to live within your love, be undone by who you are. My desire is to know you deeper. Lord, I will open up again, put my fears into the wind. I am desperate for a touch of heaven. Oh, yes we are. Oh, desperate for a touch. Oh, I open up my heart to you. I open up my heart to you now. So do what only you can. Jesus, have your way in me now. I open up my heart to you. I open up my heart to you now. So do what only you can. Jesus, have your way in me now. So all I want is to live within your love, be undone by who you are. My desire is to know you deeper. Lord, I will open
I was raised in a Christian home. My dad was a music minister, so I was almost a pastor's kid, not quite. Growing up, I kind of had a hollow faith. It wasn't really built on evidence, and it wasn't really built on anything. It was just something that my parents took me to, and I believed it to the extent that I heard people saying it, but that was about all it meant to me. I had 3 older brothers, and 2 of them walked away from the faith. And so that started to shake the foundations for me and opened me up to a lot of questions. And those questions started to come in faster and faster as I got towards high school. I just started, thinking and hearing friends talk about the idea of God. And suddenly it started to feel like what I believed was not even feasible. That it was just frustrating and sad to think that it could all just be stuff people made up, built on nothing. And so by about my junior year of high school, I pretty much stopped believing Christianity altogether. During a lot of my doubts, I thought that I was the only person who had ever thought of any of this, that I had just myself discovered this gaping hole in Christianity. But I was shocked to find out that, in fact, there have been books written on these subjects. I was far from the first person to consider these questions. They did have good answers already. I just had to find them. And that was a revelation for me. I'd never realized anything like that. I had never been taught that. And it was a game changer, truly. I did begin to take my Christianity seriously. And if Christianity is seriously true, then I seriously need to be working. I began reading my Bible regularly, and I got involved in evangelism, started talking to people, because if this is the truth, then they need to know it really, really badly. And so through that, I was able to be confident in my evangelism in a way that I never had been before. And that very next spring, I went on a mission trip down to South Padre Island and got to share the gospel with a bunch of people there who were very far from God in their behavior, but who were very open to discussions about it. There was one person I remember talking to who was just telling me that all the religions are basically the same, basically equal. They're just ways to make you a better person, make your life more fulfilling, and so you just pick whichever one works for you, and that's good for you. And I started talking to him about Jesus and the resurrection. And I said, man, if this really happened, then religion's not about choice, it's about truth. And that seemed like a new idea to him. And so he asked me, do you think the resurrection really happened? Do you think that there is evidence for it? And that was just an incredible question, because I had just heard a talk on evidence for the resurrection. And so I was able to share with him about why I believe Jesus rose from the dead. And he was really, really open to that. And so I prayed with him after that, and gave him my number in case he wanted to contact me. And he said he would look into it more. And that was a great opportunity that I wouldn't even had the courage to take if it hadn't been for apologetics reinforcing my faith. It's really exciting to be able to share what I've learned with him. And going forward, I want to do that with as many people as I can.
In school, I found my identity in pretty much what I was doing. I was always a real busy kid. That's football, student council, student government, robotics, academic competitions. When you do have downtime, you don't want to use it to read the Bible. You don't want to use it to pray. You want to use it to sleep, to relax, to do your fun things. So I go to church on Sundays, and it's all great. But I get to school, and that faith is like, kind of muted. And so I'm like, man, there's like this disconnect to who I am on Sunday and who I am during the week. So yeah, there was a time where my faith was kind of still. Like, I feel like I'm not doing all that I can to really show people that what I believe is real to me. And so I decided, okay, I'm gonna start reading my word daily. I'm gonna start praying in the mornings, and really trying to get closer to the God that's allowed me to do all that I've done in high school. One day, I was at school, and I brought my Bible, because I do Bible study during my free period at school. Somebody would ask me what was I reading. I would tell them, and somebody would ask a question about it. From then, a light bulb turned on. I was like, I can tell him about Jesus. The same thing kept happening every single time I went to class when I wanted to read my Bible. Now I'm in this environment where people are asking questions about the faith, and I need to be able to tell them what the Bible says. They were asking me questions that I didn't have the answers to. I would go home and read them in a book or look them up, and I would explain them to them in words that they could understand. And couple that with prayer and time in the Word, you know, I saw a lot of my free time being devoted to God. I realized why it's important to share my faith and why it matters, because it's true. You know, I feel like we have an obligation to share that. One of them, he said he was an atheist, and he felt like there was no need for a God. So then I saw him shifting from, okay, believing that there is no God, to now questioning, what if there is one? By the time I finished that year, he actually came to realize that there is a God, that God exists. And there was another kid named Colton. He knew about God and he believed in God, but he didn't understand what that meant personally. And he told me, eventually, he said, you know, your class, that woke up my faith. Like, that caused an awakening in my spirit, and I want to thank you for that so much. He felt so inspired that he began to share his faith. So my faith grew because I was digging deeper into my Word, and because I was finding these answers to questions that I never had, but now I did have. I began to trust on God a little bit more, and you know, the reason for my faith became stronger and more personal.